Hi chess lovers, so today we are going to see the Immortal game. This is very famous game played in London 1851 in international chess competition between Anderssen and Lionel. So Anderssen is playing with white pieces and game start with e4. Then his opponent played e5 and then Anderssen offered king's gambit with f4. So his opponent accepted this gambit. It is king gambit accepted, and after playing this, the best move for white will be putting his knight on f3 square, stopping check from the queen. So this is the best line when king gambit is accepted. So suppose Anderssen played his knight, if his opponent try to give check, Anderssen easily can take this queen with his knight. But in the game it was not played, the knight was not played, and Anderssen tried to develop his bishop on c4 square. So after this move of c4, bishop to c4, which is not a best move. The best move is the knight stopping queen, giving check. His opponent, as obvious, give the check to the king, and king has to move on f1 square, because if Anderssen try to use his pawn to block this check, then easily his opponent can capture this pawn, and as you can see, his opponent can't recapture the pawn because the rook is hanging. So if his opponent recapture the pawn, simply his opponent will take the rook, and that will be very bad situation. So to protect from the check, Anderssen move his king to f1, and after this move Leon played a very bad move, that is b5, attacking the light square bishop of Anderssen. It is really bad move, but maybe Anderssen think that maybe Leon think that Anderssen can bring his knight to f3 and then to e5 and creating some pressure on f7 square. So to stop this, maybe Lionel played b5, and then after this move of b5, Anderssen take this free pawn at b5, and after this move Lionel played his knight to knight to f6. The idea of this move is to attack the undefended pawn, and over here, instead of protecting this undefended pawn, Anderssen played his knight to f3, attacking the queen, and also try to kick out this queen from the king side. So Leon move his queen to h6. So after this move, Anderssen played d3, protecting the undefended pawn on e4, but as per engine, d4 will be the best move as per the engine, because if Anderssen played d4, he can occupy the squares in center, and if the knight of Leon take the undefended pawn at e4, then simply Anderssen can ping this knight in absolute pin. So after moving queen to e1, this knight is pinned This type of pin is called absolute pin because the king is involved. This knight on e4 can't move as the king is behind this knight. So I have made detailed video on types of pin in chess, so there you can check what is absolute pin. So link will be in the description. So this was one of the possibility, but in the actual game, instead of playing d4, d3 was played by Anderssen, and after this move his opponent simply move his knight to h5. The idea of this move is to place the knight on g3, giving check to Anderssen king, and simultaneously this move fork king and the rook, and Anderssen can't take this knight. Why? Let us see. So after the move of knight by Lionel to h5, suppose Anderssen plays some random move c3, then simply Lionel will give check, and if Anderssen try to take this knight with his pawn at h2, then simply Lionel will take the rook by giving check, and this situation is very bad for Anderssen. So considering this, after Lionel move his knight to h5, Anderssen blocked this particular move by placing his knight to h4. Now after this move, if Lionel give check, Anderssen simply can take his knight, and this is a good situation for Anderssen. So after the move of knight to h5, which is a very good move by Lionel, this move we can see it is a great move, but Anderssen figured this out and blocked this move with his knight h4. After playing this move, and his opponent Lionel tried to open up a double attack by placing his queen to g5. This is a double attack. Lionel is attacking the knight and also attacking the bishop. So for double attack also I have made a detailed video about the concept of double attack, and with I have some puzzle also for double attack, so I will give link in the description. So after this move of Lionel, which open up a double attack to Anderssen stopped this by moving his knight to f5, and after this move his opponent tried to attack the bishop, light square bishop, by playing c6. So by playing c6 he is attacking the light square bishop, but Anderssen was a very attacking player, and instead of saving his bishop he just attacked the knight of Lionel, and after this move of g4, Lionel moved his knight back to safety, and here things start getting little bit complex. So after Lionel moved his knight, instead of saving the light square bishop, Anderssen saved the pawn at g4. So he did this by placing his rook on g1. So if he don't do that, simply if he played some other move, like if he save his light square bishop, then Lionel can take the pawn at g4, and as this knight is protected by the queen, Anderssen can't take this knight back. And also if you see, Lionel is slowly moving his knight towards king, and queen is also there. So this is very deadly combination. So to stop this, instead of saving his light square bishop, Anderssen save his pawn at g4. This pawn at g4 seems to be more valuable than this light square bishop, and also Anderssen thinks that he can trap the queen of Lionel. So let us see further. So after this move of rook to g1, Lionel simply take the light square bishop, and now over here Lionel is plus 3-point advantage. So clearly Lionel has win one important piece and he is in advantage. But after this move, just Anderssen attacked the queen by placing his pawn to h4, and Lionel moved his queen to the safe square g6, and after this again Anderssen attacked the pawn, again attacked the queen, and again Lionel save his queen to the safe square g5, and after this move Anderssen move his queen to f3. Then this is actually a great move. By moving his queen to f3, actually Anderssen is trying to trap the queen of Lionel by moving in his next move. He can place his dark square bishop to f4, and clearly queen has no escaping route, as this knight on f5 is very powerful and controlling important square. So the queen of Lionel will be trapped, but Lionel figured this out, and after queen moved to f3, he moved his knight to g8, creating some escaping route for his queen. And after this move Anderssen take the pawn, and Leon move his queen to the safety on h6. So if you look at this particular position, Anderssen has 3 developed pieces, whereas Lionel has only queen developed. So development wise Anderssen is in advantage. He has already developed 3 his important pieces, and Lionel only has developed queen, but Lionel has advantage in material. He has win the bishop. So after this move Lionel is threatening to win the pawn at b2. To save this, Anderssen places knight on c3, and after this Lionel develop his dark square bishop attacking the rook, and after this particular move, instead of saving the rook, Anderssen attacked the queen of Lionel, and if you see Anderssen is attacking the queen. If Lionel take the rook, he will take the queen, but in this position Lionel played a good move by moving his queen to b2 and taking up the free pawn. Now at this particular position Anderssen played a brilliant move, a brilliant silent moves, series of moves you can say. First was to bring his dark square bishop closer to the king by placing his dark square bishop to d6, and if you see by doing this move he is controlling the dark square near his enemy, near his opponent king. And after this particular move of d3 d6, which is a good move, a silent good move. Anderssen opponent take the rook, and after this move, instead of capturing bishop or trying to save his hanging rook on a1, Anderssen played a very brilliant move, that is e5. This move seems to be very simple, but actually this move does lot of things. First of all, this is stopping the queen to coming back to protect the king. So now the queen can't come to protect his king, and also knight at f5 can take the pawn at g7, which was not possible before, as queen was protecting that particular pawn. But now, after the move of pawn to e4 to e5, g7 pawn is no longer protected by the queen, and also queen can't come towards his king to protect. So after this move, Anderssen opponent become greedy and take the free rook, giving check. Anderssen move his king to e2, and now there is no longer a check. Now Anderssen opponent can't give him check, and after this particular move, Anderssen opponent thinks Anderssen can give check by placing his knight on c7 and giving check to king, and also simultaneously attacking the rook on a8. So to stop this, his opponent played a6, controlling. Now his opponent control the c7 square, but Anderssen was not thinking this particular move. He has some other vision. So after this move, he just simply give check with his knight on g7. Only place where king can move is d8. And now after this, if you see, if Anderssen can place his dark square bishop on e7, giving check to the king, then this is a checkmate, because knight is controlling these squares. Only thing which is stopping this checkmate is the knight at g8. So to deviate this knight from his original square, Anderssen sacrifice his queen. This is a brilliant queen sacrifice. Anderssen played f6, sacrificing the queen. His opponent has no other option. There is no escaping route for his king. The dark square bishop is controlling dark square, and knight is controlling other squares. So he has to take the queen, and after this, the final and the last move was dark square bishop to e7, and this is a checkmate, because knight is controlling e8 and second knight is controlling d7. So there is no escaping route for his opponent, and in this way Anderssen win this game. And Anderssen was very much material down in this game. If you see here, he has sacrificed his queen also in order to win. So these are the series of brilliant moves which he played and win this game. So if you think you learn something from this game review, consider subscribing our channel. And if you think that this is interesting game, like and share. So in our channel we will be uploading daily game reviews, puzzles and chess opening and strategies, and going further we will be considering to include some other form of sport in our channel. So consider subscribing our channel. Thank you.